in the corporation, something very interesting happens every day. The key decision makers are two groups of people. One group are the shareholders, the people who literally, in the way capitalism works, own the corporation by owning shares of it. Shares, however, are only owned in the main by rich people, by a few institutions. To give you just one statistic here from the United States, 1% of shareholders own about 2/3 of the shares. If you ever wonder who the 1% are that folks talk about, that's as good a group as any. And the way a corporation works, again, for those of you not familiar, once a year there's an election. And the shares vote for something called the board of directors. Those people, that's 50 people, more or less, make all of the key decisions for every corporation that works like this, which is 99% of them. Meanwhile, there is a large number of people, 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, hundreds of thousands, millions, who are employees of the corporation. They all, of course, have to live with the decisions that the board of directors and the major shareholders make. An interesting way to make the fundamental economic decisions of a society. Because what you are essentially doing and saying, whether you face up to it or not as a culture, is that there's going to be a tiny group of people who make all the key decisions that everybody else has to live from, on, and with. The mass of people, the employees to begin with, but the larger community in which every corporation lives and functions, they all have to live with the consequences. But they are excluded from participating in making the decision. Let me say that again to make real sure it's with us. The mass of people in our economic system are required to live with the consequences of the decisions made by the corporate leaderships, decisions from which they are excluded legally and in practice, de jure and de facto. Whatever else you call this system, it is not democratic. In the communities where we live, we insist upon having votes. We say that the mayor or the governor or the senator or the president makes decisions that we all have to live with, and therefore we, who have to live with the decisions, must be able to participate in making them. But when we go to work in a capitalist system, we cross the threshold into the office, the store, or the factory, and we put all of that aside. If you put the power of directing what goes on in an economy in the hands of a tiny number of people, you can't really be surprised if they make the decisions that keeps them in that charmed place. Can you? So why are we surprised to learn, as I'm sure many of you know, that over the last 40 years, for example, here in the United States, just to take an example, corporations, boards of directors, and major shareholders have decided to take the profits that everyone helped to produce and give it to themselves in the form of dividends to shareholders, which is what they are, and spectacular pay packages to the chief executives who are on boards of directors. This should surprise nobody. It's the way the system works. We live with a system that periodically throws millions of people out of work, undoes their family life, undermines their educations, it's unbelievable what we expect and what we accept. And the other thing capitalism has done, stunningly, is produce an inequality that is mind-bending. Of course, it's easy to see why if the boards of directors and the major shareholders decide what to do with the profits and give a lot of it to themselves. Bingo, we've explained inequality. But the problem is it's the system that produces the inequality, not this or that law, this or that rule, or this or that political candidate. This is a systemic problem, like our instability. Well, then the solution jumps right out at you. Democratize the enterprise. Make the decisions something that is done one person, one vote. Everybody who works in an enterprise has an equal say in deciding what to produce, how to produce, where to produce, and what to do with the profits that they all helped to produce. A wonderful, interesting idea. Democracy in the workplace. Just think of a society in which you have not just democracy where you live, but democracy where you work. If it was good for the one, it's good for the other. Maybe getting rid of the kings who told us what to do where we live is like getting rid of the board of directors who tells us what to do where we work. Because you know what kind of matters? Being at work is what you do most of the adult life you have, is going to work. If democracy is a value that means something to you, it should have been instituted long ago where you work, because that's where you spend most of your time. Instead, you accept what? To live in a society you like to call democratic, even though the place where you spend most of your time is the antithesis of that, your workplace.